So I don't know if you heard the headline. Here's the headline. The headline is vaccine skeptic Eric Clapton contracted COVID, cancels shows because he's anxious. So that's a lie. He got the vaccine, and then he got injured. And then he spoke about his injury from the vaccine. He wasn't a vaccine skeptic. He was a guy who got the vaccine, and then he got injured, and then he talked about his personal experience, his lived experience, as the kids like to say today. So British rocker Eric Clapton, a critic of coronavirus vaccines and pandemic restrictions, has tested positive for COVID and canceled 2 upcoming gigs because he is anxious about spreading the virus to colleagues and fans. So why isn't the story just Eric Clapton is canceling shows because he has COVID and doesn't want to spread COVID? What's the critic of the vaccines and pandemic restrictions? What is that part supposed to tell me, that he's a critic? And what is that? Well, it serves him right. That's what that's about. Serves him right for criticizing those vaccines and the lockdowns. Does not criticizing the vaccine and pandemic restrictions provide extra protection from COVID? Because, by the way, Stephen Colbert just canceled shows because of COVID. Did you know that? They didn't write corporate pharma bitch Stephen Colbert did all things and still has COVID. They didn't write that.
Bill Gates canceled his parts of his book tour because he got COVID.
It's amazing. They
didn't say vaccine profiteer Bill Gates.
The whole White House bragged about it.
That's right. At the White House Correspondents' Dinner, Joe Biden proudly announced how vaxxed and boosted they all were, and everyone still got COVID. But it's only Eric Clapton that the people like to laugh about, that he got it. Clapton's upcoming shows in Zurich, the 70s tested. Okay. He has been told by his medical advisors that if he were to resume traveling and performing too soon, it could substantially delay his recovery. Eric is also anxious to avoid passing it, blah, blah, blah. In 2020, Clapton produced an anti-lockdown song titled Stand and Deliver with Van Morrison. It featured the lyrics, "Do you want to be a free man or do you want to be a slave?" The musician's 2021 song, This Has Gotta Stop, riffed on a similar theme.
Oh, that's how he got it.
Oh, that's how he got it.
He's saying about freedom.
He's saying about freedom.
His soul's desire for freedom.
Riffing on freedom causes COVID.
So Clapton said he experienced severe reactions to the AstraZeneca vaccine. I wonder why they put that in quotes, like as if it's not true. Like as if people don't
said it.
Yeah.
They're quoting what he said, yeah.
Oh, is that what that is? But it looks like they're, that they don't really mean it. It led him to criticize assurances about the vaccines as propaganda. Millions worldwide have received the shots, and scientists say there is no doubt the vaccines drastically cut the risk of serious illness and death against all forms of the coronavirus. So, but that's not speaking to his thing. That doesn't speak to did he get severely vaccine injured or not? Why do you pretend like that? So they always do this. They shift the subject. That's not what he's talking about. So shut up if you had a bad reaction to the vaccine, Eric. That's what that says. So if
because scientists have no doubt.
That's right. Scientists have no doubt.
Also, don't research what scientists feel about
it. Don't do that.
Don't quote the scientists if you're quoting Eric Clapton on severe reactions.
So I like at least some people push back. Eric Clapton was vaccinated. He wasn't a skeptic. He was, however, a critic because he suffered a long-term vaccine injury. Then he gets COVID anyway, i.e., the vaccine didn't work, says this guy. He means it didn't stop him from getting COVID. This is how Huffington Post frames it. However much you hate disingenuous media, it's not enough. That's how they framed it. Can't hate them enough. I agree. This is the Daily Mail. Anti-vaxxer Eric Clapton cancels shows after testing positive for coronavirus. Because you got injured by the vaccine, that makes you all anti-vax now. And by anti-vax, we mean you're telling people that you got injured. That's all that is. So Clapton is an anti-vaxxer, even though he took the vaccine and only became vocal after he had a bad reaction to it. This is irresponsible journalism, if you can even call it that. It's not hard to get angry when you see this kind of thing. I know people personally who shit on Eric Clapton because he took the vaccine and got injured by it. Pro-mandate, pro-vax comedians who then ripped him because he got injured by the vaccine and told people about it. That's like unforgivable. I think you should have your comedy card, your license revoked for doing shit like that. That's despicable. People who are fucking piling on Eric Clapton, it is disgusting. And then of course, I don't know if you know, I've heard of Eric Clapton my whole life. I'm not a big into rock and roll, right? So I didn't follow him. I didn't follow the bands he was in and whatever. I don't know anything about it. But I've always heard his name. He's been in pop culture since I was in high school. I never heard that he was a racist until he got injured by the vaccine. And then all of a sudden, of course, he's a racist, misogynist, white supremacist, blah, blah. He's every bad thing you could ever think. He's a Trumper. That's what that is. He's a Trumper. Let's put this news in order. Firstly, Clapton was not an anti-vaxxer until he suffered terrible side effects after his jabs. Secondly, he now has COVID after being vaccinated and suffering terrible side effects. I'm not surprised he is an anti-vaxxer. He's not. I just read that Eric Clapton tested positive for COVID. He's very anti-vax, so, oh well, serves him right. I have no sympathy for the unvaxxed.
Gary Martin for Beto.
No, he's vaxxed. He's vaxxed, you propaganda spewing fucking moron. He's vaxxed. Gary Martin for Beto for governor. Oh my God. Oh my God. Rabid anti-vaxxer Eric, this is some guy with a blue check. Rabid anti-vaxxer Eric Clapton contracted COVID and had to cancel several stops on his tour. Boo fucking who?
Of course, he's got a Ukrainian flag behind him.
Oh, that's what that is? Oh, God.
Yeah, somehow that flag is synonymous with Pfizer on Twitter.
Really?
You just, when you see all these shitlib tweets, there's always a blue and yellow color next to them these days. Because it's the current thing.
Yeah, it's the new thing. I'm for the new thing. COVID has contracted, this is by the Horse Whisperer. It says, COVID has contracted a case of the clap. Notorious anti-vaxxer Eric Clapton tests positive for COVID, cancels tour dates. He's vaxxed. Fully vaccinated Eric Clapton tests positive for COVID, cancel. That should be the story. But they can't help but do propaganda. What you're doing is doing propaganda for Pfizer. You're a fucking tool and you don't even know it. And you don't even care.
Notorious vaccinated anti-vaxxer.
Yeah, notorious, completely fully vaccinated anti-vaxxer. The vaccine junkie celebrating Clapton getting a virus is kind of sick. Kind of sick.
Well, you know what?
Kinda
I bet the way they think of it, it's the same way as stupid Taylor Lorenz and the other one, is that our enemies are this other side, okay? So if you're not with us, you're with the terrorists. And so when people were laughing that Jen Psaki got COVID after getting vaccinated or whatever it is, or that dinner, in their mind, it's like, oh, well, Eric Clapton's, he's on that team of, I guess, terrorists now they're called. And that's why we have to laugh at them, because none of it's about science or Ukraine. It's really just that one.
It's just tribalism.
Civil war.
It's just tribal. That's all this is tribalism.
Yeah, and the vaccine, if you take it and accept it, and you're quiet if you're injured, it confers virtue upon you.
Yeah.
And Eric Clapton, by speaking out about his injury, and I know so many people who got very sick or who were injured from it, and who stayed silent. But for speaking out, he's now being ritually stoned and punished. That's what's going on.
I'm still sick from it. I still have stiff necks all the time. I get a lot of stuff from it. But again, it's not as bad as lots of people, so I don't like to talk about it too much. But I do let people know that I did get injured by the vax.
Well,
And-
I get a new booster every Sunday, like it's communion.
Yes.
I get on my knee.
And I have no one to sue, and I have no way to recover. And but the people who did this have all the money in the world. They're the richest corporations in the world.
Well, that's a right-wing position, Jimmy, to
I know.
oppose giving them total legal immunity.
Why did they give Big Pharma immunity from being sued if they injured people? Because the vaccines are safe. That's why. Hey, I'm on tour. Come see me in Irvine, California, Las Vegas, Indianapolis, Salt Lake City, Washington. Washington? You mean Washington State?
Yes.
Yes. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all those tickets.